Hello, and welcome to the Leaders and Their Stories podcast. My name is Richard Lowe. I'm the writing king and ghostwriting guru. My guest today is Rico Caveglia, and he is going to talk about aging and growing old and how to be healthy. So, Rico, please take it away.
Thank you very much, Richard. It's a pleasure to be here. Well, I'd like to begin with, what I feel is one of the biggest challenges that we are all facing as humanity is becoming old and sick and dying way too young. Science now tells us that our genetic potential is to stay healthy to at least 125. So that means our lifespan can be 125, but yet we know our life expectancy in America has actually been coming down in recent years. It's only 76 for men and 79 for women. So, but that tells me, most people are missing out on a lot of good years of living. And we also know from science that our genes now, we know, only play a small role in how healthy we're going to be and how long we're going to live, maybe 10 to 15%. So the reason that we have all this chronic illness and people are dying way too young in America is because of our unhealthy lifestyle. So it's really all about your lifestyle, and that's good news because you can change your lifestyle and you can create a much healthier lifestyle and live a lot longer, healthier life. And you know what, Richard, one of the reasons that I really think that's why it's so important, other than the obvious, I mean, everybody wants to be as healthy and live as long as they can. But I feel as you know, as we age, we gain knowledge and we gain wisdom. And so I think that, because of people are becoming sick and dying way too young, we're missing out on all this knowledge and wisdom that our elders could be giving back, not only to help solve all these monumental challenges we're having in the world, but also to be mentors and role models for younger people. And we're sorely lacking in that. So that's why I developed what I call the ageless living lifestyle. It's a
And, and,
lifestyle.
and we'll get more into that in a minute, but I do understand what you mean. Um, Actually, I've been making some lifestyle changes myself. Thank you, doctors. And I have to eliminate most of my salt from my diet and fix the carbs and exercise more. Damn it. And so I've done that and I'm feeling much better. I've only been doing it a few weeks. I'm feeling better. The body's feeling better. The mind is certainly better. And I can see the difference even after just a few weeks.
Yeah, no question about it. It makes a huge difference. And if exercise is not something that you really think about or enjoy or want to do, don't think about it as exercise. Think just about it as movement. Our bodies are made to move. There was a really interesting study, Richard, not too long ago. I don't recall what university or exactly what it was, but the parameters was for weight loss. And so they had one control group, and they had them exercise real intensely for an hour every day. The other control group, they said, look, you don't have to do any kind of formal exercise, but just keep moving. Don't sit for more than at the most an hour and get up and move. Just keep moving throughout your day. And guess what? At the end of the study, the people who just moved a lot more throughout their day lost more weight than the people who exercised real intensely. I like to ask people, I like to ask people I know who are exercising. I say, do you have a sedentary lifestyle? And they go, oh no, I exercise an hour every day. Okay, but what are you doing the rest of the day? We sitting in front of the computer, you're sitting in your car, you're sitting in front of the TV, you're sitting down to eat. So if you're just sitting the majority of your time, that's a sedentary lifestyle. So the main
Yeah.
thing is just to keep moving. The more you move, movement is improvement.
Yeah. I went to my chiropractor once because I have bad knees. And I said, what do I do about these? I don't want to get them. I don't want to go to the doctor and surgery and stuff. And he said, you have to keep them moving,
Yeah.
which is counterintuitive. The doctors always say, okay, you need to rest. Don't move that knee because you don't want to make it any worse. Don't want to aggravate it. Chiropractor said, and I don't really like chiropractors, but this one said, you need to move. You need to be mobile.
Absolutely.
That will keep
Absolutely.
the knee. And I haven't, my knees don't even hurt anymore. I mean, they don't bother, unless I really abuse it, they don't bother me anymore at all.
That's
And
absolutely. I'm really good to hear that. That's absolutely the right thing. You have to realize that most medical doctors, they're kind of caught up into this, to the big, all the just on medications, and they don't want to get sued, so they always just say, oh, take it easy, don't hurt yourself and all that stuff. And that's just counterproductive. Our bodies are meant to move. The body can heal itself if you give it the right nutrition, you give it the right
Right.
amount of movement and rest, the body can heal itself. So that's absolutely the right information. You got to move and strengthen your muscles around your knees.
Right. That's exactly what he said. In
Yeah.
fact, when my knees were really hurting, it was like level 7, level 8 pain. And so I went to two surgeons, orthopedic surgeons. I went to the Indian one first. Thank God I did that. The Indian surgeon said, I said to the Indian surgeon, do I need new knees? And he said, no. I said, well, you haven't even examined me yet. How do you know that? And he said, because you didn't tell me you need new knees. You asked me if you needed new knees, you would come in here saying, give me new knees because it hurts. I said, oh, when I went to the American surgeon, what do you think he said? He said,
We'll schedule you.
he said, we'll have you scheduled for surgery tomorrow. And I was like, I'll listen to the Indian one because the Indian guy gave me these things like MSM and glucosamine and a few other supplements.
Collagen.
Yeah,
Collagen can help.
the pain went shoo, until now, like I said, it's barely there. So that's
That's a
when I
good
learned
stuff.
the importance of second opinions
Yeah.
and second diverse opinions. Don't just go to two, say, medical doctors who are schooled in Western medicine. Maybe I'm not saying go to some, alternative medicine people. You don't necessarily have to do that, but at least go to somebody who's skilled with a different viewpoint, who understands it's not all about knives and medicine.
I totally agree. This sounds like the American surgeon he wanted to buy a new Mercedes. So he said, oh, here's my new Mercedes. Go on in. It's all about the money, unfortunately, too much of a mainstream medicine. And
I
here's
didn't
the
even
thing.
look, sorry, I didn't even look at it like that. I looked at it as that's what he's skilled in. That's his skill set. So his skill set is pills and cutting.
That's right.
The skill set of the Indian doctor, he has the same skill. He can cut, can prescribe, but he had another skill, which is maybe we don't need to do that. Yeah, sure, I lose that 50 grand or whatever it is to cut off his knees, but I have this other I have this other set of tools, which is
Yeah.
natural stuff. You can always get your knees cut off, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Well, here's the thing too, Richard. We actually have it backwards. What's called alternative medicine really should be mainstream medicine. You know, our bodies are meant to heal. If we get our body back in balance and do all the right lifestyle things, quite often our body can heal from just about everything. For centuries we used all these different kind of things, which are now called alternative. We're mainstream. Homeopathic medicine, Ayurvedic medicine from India, all these kind of things were mainstream, but big pharma just came in, pushed it aside, and said, "Oh no, this is what we got to do." And so actually, we have it backwards. All these natural healing modalities should be our first choice, our mainstream type. And then if that doesn't work, sometimes we get in certain situations. Yeah, drugs and surgery have their place, particularly for acute situations. If you get into an accident, they can put you back together and save your life. They're great. But for most chronic illnesses that we deal with, mainstream medicine, allopathic medicine is not only the treatment's mostly ineffective, they're downright dangerous. So
if
we
if
got that backwards.
if I got a bone sticking out of my knee, I'm going to go to a doctor and get it fixed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If I got a headache, I'm probably going to go to more of an look at non-medical interventions first. There
Exactly.
might be a medical intervention down the road, but if I'm not going to die from it in the next month
Yeah.
or two or whatever,
Yeah.
I might go to the medical doctor to get an x-ray
Yeah, exactly.
and check it out and make sure it's not something horrible. But
Mhm.
given that it's not horrible, I'll go to somebody who's not interested in the cutting and the pills.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I use my brain. That's
That's right.
what it's here
It-
for.
yeah. If I may, I'd like to make that point about aging and old, because I
Please.
think I think that's something that I don't hear from hardly anybody else. If you look up the definition of aging, the definition is to become fully mature, to reach your full potential, like fine aged wine. And so aging is
There you
what
go.
we're here to do. And you can't stop aging. Aging is a natural process. When you're 40, then you're 41, and you're 42. But if you look up the definition of old means to be worn out, used up, unexcited about your life, unable to care for yourself. And guess what? Being old is pretty much primarily our choices, how you care for your mind and how you care for your body. So if you believe that you're going to get old and sick like most people are, well, that's what you're going to create. But if you buy into that mainstream narrative, if you change your mindset and say, hey, I believe I don't have to get old. I can stay healthy, pretty healthy and energetic all of my life. That's the first part. And then you have to take care of your body as best you possibly can. And you can stay, obviously, we're not going to be as strong and as fit and as healthy as when we're 20s or 30s, but we can stay much better than we are doing now. And I, I and my clients are living proof that works. You know, a healthy lifestyle really makes a big difference.
Healthy lifestyle makes all the difference. I'm in the last few months, I've been switching to a more healthy lifestyle for various reasons, and it's tough to break those old habits. I mean, when I grew up, my mother used to, I mean, they didn't know, she didn't know any better. She she used to, if I was acting up, she'd give me candy and chocolate. But we're not talking just a candy bar. We're talking a pound of candy.
Ooh,
She's like, here, have all this candy. I get pounds of candy for Christmas and stuff. So I grew up on candy and chocolate and caffeine. Fortunately, I avoided alcohol and cigarettes and drugs. So, you know, good job there, Richard.
yeah,
And good job there, bad influences that made them turn me off because they had really screwed up lives. And I could even see that at an early age. Um, so the body's like, I want sugar. I want salt. I'm like, body, shut up. We're not doing that today. Go for a walk. And that seems to work much better.
you know, one thing too, a tip is, you know, quite often when we think that we're hungry or we have some kind of a craving, we're really thirsty. So quite often, if you think you had a meal already, and later on you think you have a little craving, you're not really hungry. Just drink some water or go out for a walk, do something different. It's just really you got to shift your perception, your mindset. And but again, you know, I don't believe in being extreme. Don't forget now, we need salt. You don't want to eat a lot of just plain table salt, but you know, we can't function without sodium in our body. And so you don't want to be extreme, like I never eat any salt. But if you're going to eat salt, make sure it's like a sea salt or a natural mineralized, like pink salt. There's all kinds of healthier salts on the market. And then also, it's never good to be extreme, like they say. Oh, you remember the big thing was fat is an evil thing. You can't eat any fat. And that was totally the wrong information. You know, we
Of
can't
course.
function without healthy fats. And the same thing, all carbs are not bad either. And there's some of the latest studies are beginning to show out. There's more and more, like functional medicine doctors and researchers are coming out and saying, all this thing about how much carbs and sugar is the cause of diabetes, and maybe not. It's not quite that clear cut as well. So you still need, don't forget, fruits and vegetables are carbohydrates, but we
Of
also
course.
still need some starchy carbohydrates. Like it's still good to eat some rice and maybe some potatoes and a little bit of and bread here and there. Everybody's different. You know what your body desires. There's no one diet or foods that are best for everybody. So you have to determine what really works for you.
Well, you actually hit on the key, I think, and not directly though, is it's a balance. You don't,
Absolutely.
like I was saying, I don't stuff anymore. I don't stuff myself with a pound of chocolate.
That's good.
Instead, yeah, I've learned. Instead, having one piece of candy. Well, I tend to be addictive towards candy, so I avoid candy.
Yeah,
But it's not going to kill me to have a piece of candy, other than I'm
exactly.
going to want another and another and another and another.
Yeah,
But um, have that balance in there. Like you said, a little rice, a little potato, a little fruit, a little vegetables spread through the day. You're going to do fine, I
exactly.
think. But if you want to have three potatoes or have that big meal, um, that might be a problem if you can continue to. Yeah, obviously, you might have a huge meal on Christmas. Why not? But you should
Yeah.
definitely keep it down to just those special days if you can.
That's exactly right. If I may, I have some tips that help you on eating too.
Please.
It's called eating awareness techniques. So the first one is when you eat, just eat. You know, if you're distracted, if you're watching TV or you're having a discussion or you're looking on your phone, see what happens if you're not paying attention to what you're eating and you're not, and also the next one is to eat slow and chew your food well, slow down and eat slowly, because we have a thing in the base of our brain called the apostat. It's what lets us know when we're full. But if you're distracted and you're eating too fast, you can eat a whole bunch of calories before your body finally tells you, hey, that's enough, I'm full. So if, you know, we should take eating as a time out from whatever else we're doing in our life. It's a time uh, to renew ourselves, to enjoy the food, take some time out, you know, bless your food, eat slowly and enjoy the food and really chew it well and really enjoy it. And that way you won't overeat. But that's the biggest thing. We all tend to
Right.
overeat. So if you eat slowly and you eat with awareness and just focus on eating and enjoy your food, then the tendency is not to eat too many calories and you'll know you're full. And the other one is to realize when we eat, we're eating to get energy, not to get all stuffed and slow us down. If you eat if you feel a little bit, you know, tired after you eat, that's because you probably ate too many calories,
Right.
or or the other thing is you ate the food that was so nutritionally empty that your body kept saying, "Yeah, here's the calories, but where's the nutrition?" So that's why it's important not to eat, you know, to get that processed junk food
Right.
out of your diet. When you eat nutritious whole foods, your body goes, "Yeah," your body gets satisfied a lot quicker. But you know, you're eating you're eating fast food, you know, French fries and hamburgers and Cokes and all that stuff. Your body, it's taking out all those calories, but your body says, okay, but where's the nutrition that we're looking for? And so it still thinks that you want to eat more. So that's
Right.
key. So if you slow down, chew your food, again, appreciate your food, be grateful for it. And that way you won't overeat. So it's not always so much what you eat, but how you eat and when you eat.
True. True. And what I discovered also now that several times I've tried to change my diet and I'm really working on it now and it's being successful is there is a withdrawal period. I mean, just not eating sweets or not eating stuff
Yeah.
with salt, the body's going, no, 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 no. Where's that salt, dude? Where's that
Hmm.
sweets, dude?
Hmm.
And I feel it like, and you have to get through that. It's not as bad as caffeine. I got off caffeine about 10 years ago. That was a nightmare. You know, I was
Yeah,
drinking a lot of soda and
that's the worst.
yeah, no kidding. Those diet soda, so it was even worse probably. But but
Richard, I just saw a thing on YouTube. They said President Trump, he doesn't drink water. He drinks up to 12 diet sodas a day.
I believe it.
I just go, man, I don't know how that guy's still alive, man.
He's surviving on caffeine.
I guess.
Wait till he
Yeah,
goes through withdrawals. Oh my Lord,
I know.
that much caffeine
Yeah,
and sugar.
that's so bad for you. Yeah, soda, especially diet sodas, because diet sodas are worse than a normal soda because I think they have those artificial sweeteners in there which are known to be carcinogenic also.
Yeah, yeah. You have a book. I understand.
I do. My main book is called Ageless Living, and I wrote that in the year 2000. And then it's kind of a compilation of all I've learned, you know, what the body requires, the body and your mind requires to function optimally. So it goes through the whole thing, mindset, you know, nutrition, sleep, exercise, all the things that we need to do to function optimally. And what I really did, Richard, I kind of boiled it down to what I call the 7 essentials of life. These are all the things that we're doing already just to stay alive. We have to use our brain and think what we're doing, right? We have to have our
Right.
belief system. We have to have oxygen. We have to have water. We have to have food. We have to eliminate the waste products. We have to move our bodies, and we have to get rest and sleep. So those are things that we're already doing, but no one taught us really how to do them optimally and how to do them, how to master those things. So my Ageless Living Lifestyle, in my book, I go through all those things of how to master each one of those
Okay.
to suit you, and so you can live a much healthier, energetic life.
And that's available on Amazon on Kindle and paperback, I assume.
It is on both. Yeah, it is
Both.
on both. And you can get them on my website as well. Yeah.
Okay, what's your website?
My website is agelesslivinglifestyle.com.
Easy to remember. Good, good. Well, thank you for coming on to the podcast. It's been fascinating hearing you talk about these things, and uh, definitely something I'll take to heart. Uh, I'm Richard Lowe. This has been the Leaders and Their Stories podcast, and I'm the writing king and ghostwriting guru. And thank you. This is pretty much a daily podcast, so tune in tomorrow. Thank you.